Look, I have been a Mario fan my entire life. Okay? I grew up on the games. When I say I grew up on the games, I mean, I still play the games. Okay, so all the games I played when I was younger, I still play from time to time to this day, and there's certain Mario games that I just played all the time. Super Mario 64, Sunshine, Galaxy, fucking New Super Mario Brothers, Super Mario World, and the original Mario Brothers. Not so much 2 and 3. I do like them, but those are more, I play those on occasion, right? And I feel like, especially celebrities, when they say, oh, I grew up on Mario games, and like adults, when they say that, that doesn't mean they're fans of the franchise. It just means they grew up on it. And they're like, oh yeah, I like Mario. Like Chris Pratt and like all the cast were like, yeah, I grew up on Mario games, which is cool. Like, I'm glad you guys have at least played some of the games, unlike a lot of actors who, take on the roles of video game characters when they play them in movies and TV shows or whatever. Like, I do appreciate that. But when I hear certain things like that, I just go, okay, but do you still play them? Like, are you invested in the lore? Which I guess doesn't matter if you're an actor, right? But for me, when people say like this was going to be a nostalgia trip, it's not really a nostalgia trip, because it's just like I still play these games. So I'm a huge fan. Okay, like I've played. Let me just put it this way: there's hundreds of Mario games. Okay, and it would be faster for me to name the ones I haven't played than the ones that I have. Okay, there are very few Mario games that I have not played and or 100%ed. I have 100%ed. Like, I gotta tell you, at least 60 to 70 Mario games, okay? And that's a lot. And I'm including Mario Party games, Mario Kart, mainline games. I might be over-exaggerating a little bit, but, like, you know what I mean. So that's like me giving you guys context and how important and how high my expectations were for this video game movie. Because I'm of the opinion that there's never been a good video game movie, and I'm counting Resident Evil, Tomb Raider, Street Fighter, fucking Mortal Kombat, Assassin's Creed. What other ones are there? Fucking, there was a Doom one. Okay, I think there was a fucking, I'm looking at my game, Uncharted. Okay, I didn't like Uncharted. I thought it was fucking terrible. Okay, so when I heard they were making an animated Mario movie, I was like, okay, that's on the right track, I guess, from like the old, if you guys haven't seen the 1993, I think it was, live action movie with fucking, I can't remember any of the actors' names, but that was kind of fucking garbage. And I know it's considered a cult classic now, but let's be honest, it was garbage. And I watch it from time to time. It's so bad, it's fun to watch, but it's still bad, like Batman and Robin. Sure, like it's you could still watch it and go like laugh at it because it's really bad, but like it still means it's bad, and that's not good. I think that if I made a movie that people watch because it was bad and like laughing at all the bad shit in it, I'd be ashamed of myself and I'd be ashamed of the movie that I made. All right.
I don't know, Mario. Just trust me. I got a good feeling about this alleyway. I don't know.
So that's just me, but I thought them making an animated movie was good. You guys are on the right track. But after I saw the trailer and I saw the castings and I saw... Look, let me just take a step back. Look, the animation in this movie, hands down, beautiful. Very colorful. I think it got the aesthetic of the games very, very well. I think they did good. Now, the cast, right? The cast going into this, initially when I heard the castings, I was like, no fucking way. This is not the route you guys should go. Then when I saw the trailer and when I heard Keegan-Michael Key play Toad, when I heard Jack Black play Bowser, when I heard, I think, who else talked in that initial trailer? I know Chris Pratt did, but I think the people that I heard first were those two, right? And I was like, dude, they're killing it. Like, Keegan-Michael Key is doing an amazing impression of Toad. Fucking Jack Black's doing an amazing impression of Bowser. And when Chris Pratt got on screen, I was like, oh, you're the only one in this movie not doing an impression of a character that's been around for 40 plus years. Cool. And you're the star. Nice. And I gotta tell you, everybody in this movie killed it except Chris Pratt. And I know some people say they got used to the voice. I'm sorry, it was just distracting to me. It was just, Chris Pratt, for me personally, never fit Mario. Okay, especially because, look, Charlie Day kind of just sounds like Luigi. I think that was probably the best casting, to be completely honest with you. And the entire time I was just like, Why isn't Chris Pratt at least trying to sound like Mario a little bit? He did sometimes in like some areas, and was probably the most distracting thing to me. Is Charlie Day had a consistent Luigi voice, okay? Like Seth Rogen had a consistent Donkey Kong voice. Keegan-Michael Key had a consistent Toad voice. But Chris Pratt, there would be like a shift between Emmett from the Lego Movie to just normal Chris Pratt to like a slight impression of Mario, and it was just change. It would be like, can we just stick to something, please? It almost sounded like Chris Pratt didn't exactly know what he wanted to do with the character. So that was one of my main complaints. And then look, on a whole, I'm kind of all over the place. This is just me more like a rambling video, and based on my YouTube analytics, those are the best videos those are the videos that do the best, because I guess people just like to watch me ramble. So this is unscripted. All right, usually I write down scripts in my little journal here, okay? And not scripts. I don't do scripts anymore. I'm babbling again. Look, so let's get back on topic here. Look, on a whole, I'd say I didn't like it. However, it wasn't terrible. Okay, it was not terrible. And this is honest. Look, the reason I took so long to make a review / talk about this movie here is because, look, I really wanted to take time to think about it. I wanted to see it again, but to be honest with you, nobody else wanted to go with me. So I was like, okay, so I'm not going to spend money on this. My hair's fucking crazy. Sorry. So I was just like, okay, so let me just write some stuff down that I remember happening in the movie, and that's what I did in this journal right here. I wrote a bunch of stuff down that I remember happening in the movie, and just the plot, and like I really thought about it. I watched some clips on YouTube, I watched other reviews and like recaps of the movie, and I was just like, on a whole, and maybe I just need to see it again. On a whole, I didn't like it. I didn't like it. After thinking about it for so long, and again, this is why I waited, because I wanted to think about it before I made a full-on like public announcement on how I fucking felt about this movie. Again, it wasn't terrible, but I don't know, man. I think this missed I don't know. There was so much more I feel like they could have done. And look, let's break this up, right? Let's talk about what I liked. Okay, again, the animation. All the performances besides Chris Pratt, I thought, dude, the Luma in the cage was probably the only really funny part about the movie, and that's one of my main complaints about this movie, is like they tried too hard to be funny, and it wasn't really ever actually funny, except for that Luma. Like, I like that Luma. I thought a lot of, some of them, we'll get into the music, but a lot of the Koji Kondo remixes were really good and really clever, and I really did like that. And goddamn, what else, man? Those are the stuff off the top of my head. Now, stuff I didn't like, right? Chris Pratt as Mario. Okay, I thought the plot was, before we get into the plot, let's talk about the fucking the pacing. The pacing was god awful. I'm sorry. It was probably one of the worst pacing I've ever seen in an animated movie, because it was just so. It was like fucking like Peach. I'll just fucking use this as Peach and this and Rob as like Mario. Okay, and Mario would be like, I need to find my brother, and she has no idea who she is, and she's like, okay, let's go. It's like, what are we doing? It's all like, but first you have to go through a training course. Okay, I failed the training course. It's okay, you can still come with me. It's like what are we doing? Like, okay, you know what I mean? It would be, it's very fast. Like, someone would ask somebody to go somewhere with them, and it would just be like, okay, whatever, no explanation. I don't know who you are, whatever. And Toad, while as they were leaving, just kind of showed up, and like Peach was like, okay, that's fine, let's go. And it was just like, okay, like everybody was just like, yeah, let's go. It's like they knew they needed these characters to be together, but they didn't know exactly how to do it. And then Luigi being captured, I think, was probably a bad idea, because even though I did not like the performance of Chris Pratt, the first 5 minutes sold me on their relationship together, and I was like, bro, I want to see more of this brotherly interaction between the two. And then they split them up, and I thought that was a huge mistake. I think it would have been better if we saw them visit the Mushroom Kingdom together, go through it together. I thought that would have been more interesting for me, because again, Chris Pratt and Charlie Day, I don't know if they were in the studio, voice acting together, but they played off of each other really well, man. I very much liked it. I was just like, this is going to be one of the better parts of the movie. And then getting he's the one who captured was kind of like, okay, I don't know how I feel about that, but whatever. And then let me just tell you something. The needle drops were very distracting. I don't want to say they were bad. I'd say they're bad because they use the most cliche needle drops. And those of you who don't know what needle drops are, it's pretty much taking a pre-existing song and inserting it into a scene. And that's pretty much what it is. It has to be a pre-existing song. So like if it's a score, that's not a needle drop. Or if the lyrical song was made for the movie and they put it in the movie, I don't think that technically counts as a needle drop. So like Thunderstruck from AC/DC is technically a needle drop. And in the Black Panther movie, when they use some movie or some songs that were made for the soundtrack lyrically in the movie, it doesn't count as a needle drop. So anyway, those that's what needle drop is. And there was so many needle drops in this movie, like 80s classic rock, and I was just like, not only is it the most cliche shit to use, it just felt out of place for a Mario movie. Okay, yeah, man, very out of place. I was very distracted. I was just like, I want more of this Koji Kondo remix stuff, and they just give me Don't Sleep Till Brooklyn, and I'm just like, who made this decision? Like, come on, like, what are we doing? Why is this in a Mario movie? Look, overall, I'm just trying to think what else I could talk about, because there was so much in this movie. Easter egg wise, dude, Easter eggs were great. I enjoyed seeing a lot of stuff that, only diehard Nintendo and look, Mario fans and Nintendo fans would see. Like, there's a Punch-Out arcade, not a Punch-Out arcade machine. I think there was Punch-Out Pizzeria, and like, if you're not a Nintendo fan, you have no idea what that is, right? And or if you didn't play the game, back in the 80s. And then there was the fact that they referenced that their old job was at the Wrecking Crew, like the video game, like in Mario lore. It's like, okay, that's cool. Like, I knew that. And then there's tons of enemies littered in the background. There's different toads, different kind of like set prop. I don't want to call them set props because it's animation, but like, there's certain items in the background. And here's the thing that I did kind of enjoy is they pulled from pretty much every Mario game. They pulled from Super Mario 3D World, 64. I don't want to say Sunshine, but they pulled from a lot of the 2D ones. They have a large variety of power-ups, and like the ice flower from New Super Mario Bros. Wii, the Tanuki suit. We had the mini mushroom from New Super Mario Bros. On the DS. The cat outfit again from 3D Mario World, Super Mario 3D World. Sorry. Yeah, man. So I did enjoy the Easter eggs immensely, but like again, I think that's why I don't think it was terrible. Is and this is something that a lot of adaptations and like video game movies do, is they'll give you the Easter eggs from the games in hopes that the video game fans will go, look, we played the games. Do you still like the movie? And again, I think it's a cheap gimmick to, like in the Sonic movie. I haven't seen the second one. I heard it was better, but I have no interest in it. But again, as a whole, I didn't like the Sonic movie. There was a bunch of Easter eggs about like the character and like his lore. Like the one that's coming to mind is like the chili dogs. Like Sonic likes chili dogs, and like in the movie he eats a chili dog. He's like, what was that? A chili dog? Oh, I love chili dogs. It's like, ha ha ha. Like he likes it in the game's fun. It's a cool little Easter egg. Did you win me over? No, you didn't. It's not enough. It's just like I don't know, man. I guess since Mario and Sonic are technically video game rivals, not really anymore, I guess we should compare it. I'm going to compare it to this first Sonic movie, to the Mario movie. Look, better than the Sonic movie, the first one anyway. I don't know about the second one, which the more and more people talk about the second one to me, they're like, oh, it wasn't really good, but it was better than the first one, like way better. I'm like, okay, maybe I'll check it out. But as far as the first one goes, it was better than that. But not by much, to be honest with you. I think they actually, I'll say by a lot, because I think the people who made this movie and the people who were involved cared more about the Mario universe, or like and like the whole video game and just the characters in general, versus the Sonic movie. It didn't ever really feel like fans made it. It felt like maybe there was influencers and maybe some producers and some people in the writing room going, put this in because it was in the game. type thing. And they're like, oh, it was? Okay, cool, we'll put it in type thing. The Mario movie, I felt like there was different types of fans wanting to put different types of things into this movie, and it was like, okay, cool, like it actually felt like this was made by like fans, but at the same time, again, that didn't make it a good movie just because it's made. Look, I am a person who argues, like, if you're going to make an adaptation of something, make sure you get people who are fans of the source material, but that doesn't automatically mean you're going to make a good movie, and as a whole, I didn't think this was a good movie, again, because of the pacing, because of the different needle drops, a lot of the story choices were, like, kind of bizarre. Bowser is another big thing I want to talk about, actually. Bowser was a huge disappointment, especially because of the trailers. I looked at Bowser in the trailers, and I was like, oh, this is what we're doing. And Bowser has been, look, because my complaint about this movie, he's way too silly in this movie, and Bowser has been silly in the past, but in the mainline Mario games, he's not. And the only time I can think of where he's silly is Sunshine, where the only time you see him, he's in a bathtub, and the voice acting may have made it silly. But 64, he's scary. He is a force to be reckoned with. He is a giant fucking spiked turtle that you don't want to fuck with. In Sunshine, dude, or not in Sunshine, Galaxy, like, he is no fucking joke. In this movie, it seemed like they were going with a more serious, menacing villain, and I was like, okay, good, okay, let's see where this goes. And they kind of just throw that out the window, and then they made him like this. I didn't ever really feel like the characters, the heroes, I guess, were in danger, because it was just like, this guy's a fucking joke. He's an idiot. He just seems like an idiot, and Bowser, for me, never really came off as an idiot. Very formulaic, but not an idiot, so, you know what I mean? So it was just, like, way too silly of a Bowser.
Love really makes a guy come out of his shell.
Like, he's dumb. He's really stupid. And then Bowser, he's not exactly the smartest, but he's not exactly dumb. I think Bowser is probably the worst part of this movie, and then Donkey Kong as well. And there was a little lore detail that bothered me personally that they changed, like Cranky Kong not being Donkey Kong's grandfather. It was just his father. And I was like, bro, you had all the lore in this movie. All the lore is like very consistent to the video games, except for that. And I was like, that's an odd fucking choice. Okay. Maybe they did it because they didn't want to introduce Donkey Kong's father, or maybe people would be questioning it, but I don't know. Who knows? Anyway, I think that's all we really need to talk about here. Again, like, and listen, going into this movie, I thought, how hypocritical would it be if the only video game movie I liked was a Mario movie, and Mario is like my favorite video game franchise? Wouldn't that just be fucking insane? But, I'm not, for lack of a better term, a Sonic fan. And by that, I mean the Sonic movies, especially the first one. Again, I haven't seen the second one. Look, the first Sonic movie isn't good. It's terrible. It's a terrible movie. But Sonic fans like it because Sonic fans are in denial that most of the Sonic games are really fucking bad. And this goes on, on that train. Like, it's just like, oh, the Sonic movie was good. It's like Sonic fans are very in denial about a lot of their content. And a lot of the Sonic comics I've read, like, people are like, they're amazing. And I'm like, they're okay. Some of them are pretty bad and weird. The Sonic Boom show's terrible. A lot of the animated Sonic stuff is really bad. It's really bad. Some of it's amazing. Don't get me wrong. Some of it is really good. But, like, a lot of the stuff that, like, a lot of Sonic fans consider amazing, it's like, it's okay. But as a Mario fan, especially, and a Nintendo fan, like, we're not in denial about that shit. If something's bad, we'll call it out. And I think a lot of Mario fans in particular will be blinded by nostalgia and all the references and Easter eggs and go, holy shit, that was amazing. And they won't see the movie for what it is because of that, which honestly, good on Illumination and Nintendo for seeing that a lot of people can get blinded by that stuff and like consider like, and they'll just base the movie being good off of that. But as a story wise and the writing wise and pacing wise and just everything else, and like as far as like and needle drops and shit and music, besides like the Koji Kondo stuff, it wasn't good. It really wasn't. And I gotta side with the critics here, and a lot of the times I don't do that. And I think the fan ratings on Rotten Tomatoes, like the popcorn or whatever the fuck it's called, are overrating this as fuck. And but however, I don't think it's as bad as the critics say. Again, I didn't like it, but it wasn't terrible. I would just say it's okay. Would I buy it on Blu-ray? Okay, probably just to have it as like part of my Mario collection. But would I ever watch it again? On very certain circumstances, sure. But if I'm by myself and I just want to pop in a movie, it's probably never going to happen. I'm probably never going to watch this alone on my own time, ever. Anyway, just wanted to give you guys my opinion of the Mario movie. A lot of you guys know I'm a Mario fan, so like I just wanted to tell you guys this is how I felt. And I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya. Get the fuck. Oh, shit. Bro, if you're new here, subscribe. And if you like the video, like, bro. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by this next February. I'm trying to get monetized. So if you could do that, it'd be very much appreciated. Okay, now get the fuck out of here.